What's up, everyone? So today I'm going to go into my trading setup, how my charts are, how I reference them throughout the week and trading day. But also I think we're going to go back into weekly market breakdown. So I'm going to combine that at the end of this video. Main video is my trading charts and my setup, what I look at every day. So let's get into it. So the main one I trade, and this is literally like 95% of my trades are on the ES. So I have my main chart on TradingView where I see the whole chart, right? So I have our futures version 2 little time zones down here, link down in the bio or in the description, and it'll take you to our indicators so you could add them. So I have that down here, and my trading range or my time range is from 9:30. I start watching the markets, and through this dark blue areas where usually my trades happen, and I'm done by 11, 12 the latest, depending on how the flow of the market is. And I'm in and out. I don't wait to time the bottom, although my target was this yellow line, but I was in there, so got my money and left. I was fine with that. Next one I have is one that I just turn on and off just to reference key points in the market. So we have New York Midnight Open price level, New York Morning Open price level, and then the equities open. But again, I just reference that. The next one I have is the kill zones, and I don't really need it so much for the time range, but I like that it automatically drops it draws the fib of the range. So I'll quickly turn them on. I'll see where that morning little kill zone from New York, what's the range of that. I'll also do that first 30 minutes of market open range so I could reference that. And you can see price started to come back and then take off. Now on a lower time frame, I could see that it pulled back into this range and I took it down. So if I go down in price, I'm on 5 minute to 1 minute. So, but this is more of what I see on a lower time frame. So I could see that it came back in that range and went back down. So that was where my trade was for that day. And then we go to the higher time frame candle. And I guess the only reason why it's called ICT is because it puts the gaps in, right? So this is just putting 1 hour candles on my lower time frame chart so I could reference price and everything. So I could see, and this is the real price, right? So when I put it here on this candle, that's what it is in lifetime. So I could reference these and know that if we do get a pullback, it's going to go into this fair value gap, right? And then maybe it continues down lower, which it did. And again, if you're on a lower time frame, that's where you could take these trades. Last one I have on is, forget the name of this one, Diddly charts. Reason I have this on is, one, it plots the days for me so I could quickly see when I'm eyeballing what the week did, right? But it also puts out the highs and lows for the week and for the day, and then it just breaks the weeks off, right? So that's all I'm really worried about tracking is the week high and low, and then it'll have that the day on the current week high and low. So that's my main chart. That's what I'm basically looking at every day, and then I do my manual markups to help me find my trade, which if you go through the mentorship throughout this year, we will get into this type of trading. I'll teach it all for free. Just subscribe and keep coming back. So my second chart, I have two little windows open. One's the ES, so that's the one I am actually trading, and then the other one is the NASDAQ, right? So reason why I have these is because these markets move similar. So I could kind of track them together and see, Are they working together? What's one doing if one takes the lead first, right? And then the only indicator I have on here is just liquidity swings from Lux Algo. And I am just using that to quickly identify the swings and the ranges, right? So I could kind of reference it. And you could see quickly here, the NASDAQ never broke above this high, continued lower, where the S&P 500 did, and it continued lower, right? So I trade this market, and when I see that it runs up and this one doesn't get anywhere near it, I'm starting to think, okay, this is a stop hunt above this high, and we're going to continue down lower because NASDAQ never went above that. So they're still in their little downtrend, right? Until we get to this low, or we respect it and then continue up higher, right? So that's all I'm using this, just quick reference. I don't really care. I think this is the volume, or I don't know exactly what this number is. I don't look at that though. I should probably turn it off. All right, and then my last one is because the S&P 500 market is based on the dollar, right? Like they comes from the same economy, right? We spend the dollar. This is our stock market of the top 500 companies. So usually how these work, they go opposite ways. So as the dollar becomes a little bit weaker, the market's going up higher. And then during this period, they were in sync. So kind of throws trading off, right? Because they're supposed to be going the opposite way. So something's up, right? And then from here, it starts to reverse. So we get that giant push up and we finally get a giant push down. So now they're starting to work together again. So they're going down, and then the dollar starts going down too. So they're still kind of off, right? And then here we're kind of chopping, and then we had a big jump up, run up, and we are going down, but it's kind of chopping down. So right now we could keep saying ES is going to continue down lower. Where? Well, we're at this low, so we need to watch what happens. But it could come down to this one, anywhere in this fair value gap, right? So we need to watch. Is the dollar going to keep pushing up higher? If so, our chances of going down lower on this are higher, right? So I'm using the story behind these to help me find and look for my setup with those confluences. Again, these are on the 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart. Sometimes I flip to the daily. And then here I'm on the 5 down to the 1, but I have higher time frame candles on. So now I can see what the 1 hour is doing. I have my 4-hour story here, and now I have my lower time frame story, trying to find a trade, which for me was, I think, on the 1 minute. Dun, dun, dun. It was right here. So my target was this low, which it did go there, but I was finishing my 100K account, so I just needed a certain amount of money, so I closed the trade right here. So I got in right there, and I closed the trade there. So that was my trade. That's all I needed to pull out of the market, right? And on TradingView, just so you guys know about my setup, on TradingView, I'm on 30 seconds because I have the second chart over there. I don't pay for it over here. So I keep my analysis, my higher time frame, and then my actual execution time is on the 30-second on Tradeovate on my second screen. So that's all I needed. I closed off. I think I needed 700 left on my 100K account, and that trade was all I needed to to get funded on that account, right? So again, my analysis is here, and I still pretend I'm going to hold it there just so I could collect data. And I called that trade. It take profit, or the stop loss never got hit. It did pull back into that zone again, respected it, and then melted off to where I thought price was going to go. So even though this is my real trade, that is my setup. Was my target. So if I'm making money between that area, that's good to go. And my stop loss was respected. So that's a double win for me. Pass my funded account. Now we're going to next week get into those live funds on that 100K account, as well as with my 25K account that I'm currently live in. So just collecting more capital, growing my funded account while transferring money to my personal accounts. And then this, so that is my entire setup. Let's go into breaking it down for the week. And for when I do my analysis, I go on the daily and 4-hour charts. So last week is done. We could close that off. We're going to start on, I start here on the daily. So this is what I look at. So got my daily here, and we see that dollar is breaking these highs, but that is, if we're going to continue an uptrend on the dollar, that is our target. If that gets broken, we're looking pretty sharp. But right now we are in this uptrend, which leads us to believe that this one is going to be hit eventually. So we want dollar to keep going up, but it may need to pull back. So if we're worried about pullbacks, I'm going to block this last retracement off and drag that out. It also aligns with that fair value gap. So I just call them blocks. You could, if you're on the weekly, this could have been like an order block right there. To make it simple, I just call it a block. I know that's my zone where price is going to retrace into it. And actually I want inside. Okay. So we have that. We want it to go up into this gap is something we could keep our eye on right here. Let's draw that out. So we're kind of playing in this range now. I would like dollar to keep going up, but if we do pull back and do a retrace at the beginning of the week, this is where I'm looking for it to continue on up. So up here, we want it to keep going down. Well, we're in this gap right now, so that could be all it does, right? Could stay right there. But the next little block is going to be right there. So I'll watch price, see if it pulls back there. That's really all I want here. There's really not much. Again, the high right here, but these lines will be placed when that is the new top, right? So that's all I'm looking for on the daily over there. So now we're going to compare these two on the 4-hour. NASDAQ filled up this gap, respected this high, and started going lower. So what I'm thinking is down there, look at that double bottom, liquidity, a little more liquidity right there. I think we're going to punch through this low, which means it's possible it goes down into this little block down here. Then I go down here and I do all those markings because this is where I'm going to be looking at most of the time. So we have the high, we have this low. We're in this range, right? I think we're going to go down into this block. Put that down there, daily. Then we're going to go to the 4-hour. And we're going to say, well, if we do pull back in price, we're looking for it to pull back in this area and punch down lower, right? Reason why this area, we have this fair value gap inverted over here. We have this fair value gap. We have this fair value gap. And then we have the 50% line, which sometimes it only goes right above the 50 and then drops down. So long as price doesn't pass all these right here from this spot, what is that, 52.43 and a quarter, down to the 50% line, which is 52.03.75. Price stays within there, I'm still looking for shorts down. So what I do now is I pull out this line, draw that in, and we're going to put C. And that just lets me know that's my 50% line of this thing. So I would like it to see a pullback within the week. Maybe the first day, maybe the second day, who knows, right? Then from there, I'll go down just the 1 hour just to kind of get an idea if there's any key things here. And there's really not. There's these little fair value gaps up here, which may pull in a bigger retracement, but you can see this one went into this one a little bit. So these, I'm fine with staying open. So really just 50% and this last up candle is kind of the areas we were looking at before. We want price to pull back into. So really nothing else to mark out. We could, if you just want to put this inverse fair value gap as a zone over here. When I put the inverse in front of it, I know it's fair value gap from the other side. So anywhere from this 50% down to here is that more zone that I would really like price to respect if it's pulling back into. And that's it. That's my outlook on the markets for the week. I think we're getting a pullback and we're going to break this low potentially down to here. What order? I don't know. This could continue down into here and then give us a pullback, giving us a whole new area where we'd have to draw the 50% of that whole run. We don't know what's going to happen in the market. It's good to have your idea, but we don't know in what order it's going to happen. So I'm going to be looking for both sides, and when the setups form to show that that's where it's going, I'm going to follow with it until proven otherwise. So I hope you enjoyed that breakdown, as well as what I'm looking at when I'm actually trading, my different screen setups. And then again, when I'm on my Tradeovate logged in and taking trades, that's on 30 seconds where I have it linked up to the Apex Trader funding. So if you want to check them out, click the link down below. It'll take you to our indicators I talked about here, as well as all of our links, and you're guaranteed to save 50% on your accounts. Sometimes they do bigger promotions. You'll automatically get the best promotion is what I'm saying if you use the link down in our description. So hope you enjoy this video. We might go back to weekly market breakdowns. I'm not sure yet, but I really wanted to talk about my chart setups and what I'm looking at every day and explain my trading setup process. So subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Just punch the microphone. Take our trading mentorship completely free on YouTube for the rest of this year. And I'm going to teach you to look at the markets like I do. Again, I have 2 funded accounts, 100K and 25K. And we are looking to grow our personal account with the profits from that and get more and more accounts and keep this snowball rolling. But you got to start small. You got to start consistent. And you got to build your snowball more and more. You can't just go from A to Z. We got to go through the alphabet, right? So see you in the next video. Peace.